I bought a home to find peace. Instead, I woke up one morning to find my garage hijacked by my neighbor's adult son and a neighborhood ready to turn against me. What started as trespassing became a storm of lies, fake fines, and racial bias. But I had something they didn't expect: patience, cameras, and the truth. This is the story of how I fought back and won. My name is Jeremiah Cole. I'm 42 years old, a custom automotive technician in Wilmont Creek, Oregon. I bought my home at 812 Birch Lane 2 years ago because it had everything I needed: space to build engines, grow tomatoes, and breathe without anyone in my business. I thought I had finally found peace. That illusion ended at 7:15 on a Tuesday morning. I stepped out onto the porch with my coffee and froze. My garage door was wide open. Inside stood my neighbor, Pamela Withers, in yoga pants and a smug smile, casually rearranging boxes labeled Bryce's stream gear. Bryce was her 23-year-old son, perpetually unemployed and loudly delusional about becoming a full-time Twitch streamer. "Pamela," I called, "what the hell are you doing in my garage?" She looked up like I was the intruder. "Oh, good morning." Bryce needed space. "Your little car part hobby can wait. He's building a brand." I was stunned. "You let your son move into my garage?" She acted like I was overreacting. "It's just storage. Community is about sharing." I called a locksmith that afternoon. She stood on the sidewalk while the lock was changed, arms folded like a school principal watching a student fail. "You're being selfish," she said. "Bryce needs space. You're a grown man with tools. He's a creator." That night, I installed 3 security cameras, 1 inside the garage, 2 outside. All time-stamped, motion-triggered, and high resolution. It didn't take long for them to pay off. The next morning, my recycling was scattered across the driveway. The footage showed Bryce creeping across the lawn in a hoodie, flipping over bins like a raccoon with entitlement issues. I reported it to Pamela. She laughed. "You're escalating this, not us. The neighborhood is watching." The very next day, I met Brent Holloway, the HOA president I had never spoken to before. He showed up with a clipboard full of violations: unkempt garden structure, improper outdoor storage, unauthorized surveillance. I asked if he knew that Pamela and Bryce had broken into my garage. He didn't flinch. "We're addressing concerns raised by several members about your recent behavior." It was clear I was the problem, not the people who trespassed and vandalized my home. I was also the only black homeowner on the street. The real war started when Pamela filed a police report claiming I had stolen Bryce's property. They said the garage was a shared space. They claimed my cameras were tampered with. She even accused me of creating fear in a white-majority neighborhood. But I had video-clear footage of Bryce trying to drill out my garage lock while Pamela stood lookout. The tape even caught Bryce saying, "I'll just force it and deal with it later." I handed it all to Officer Reyes, a sharp, no-nonsense Latina who reviewed it in silence. When she looked up, her expression was unreadable. "I'm going to handle this," she said. That weekend, Pamela and Bryce returned midday this time, trying to get into the garage again. Reyes caught them in the act. Bryce was holding bolt cutters. Pamela tried to play it off like a retrieval mission. Bryce got arrested. Pamela exploded. "You don't understand what this family has been through." She shouted. "People like him don't know community values." The words hung there. "You mean black?" I asked. She didn't respond. The arrest didn't stop her. Fake HOA citations appeared in my mailbox almost daily. My garden visual clutter, my security cameras, intimidation tools. Neighbors I had never spoken to were suddenly posting on the neighborhood Facebook group about how Jeremiah at 812 is scaring the kids. Then came the threats. One night I stepped out to find a cardboard sign in my yard, crudely written in marker, "Move out." Menace. No one claimed responsibility, but I knew. I saw Pamela watching me from her front window. I stayed quiet, but I started planning. I compiled everything. Every notice, every video file, every audio clip. I edited nothing. I let the truth speak for itself. Then I uploaded a 12-minute video titled "The Truth About 812 Birch Lane" to YouTube and read it. It opened with timestamps, raw security footage, Bryce in my garage, Pamela watching from the driveway, HOA notices with dates and signatures, a zoom in on Bryce's graffiti, the word "liar" spray painted across my garage wall. No music, no narration, just proof. The video went viral. Local news picked it up, then national blogs. People saw exactly what had happened and how long I had been patient. Pamela claimed I faked everything. She accused me of editing the video to make her family look bad. But the footage was verified by multiple analysts. News outlets ran it frame by frame. There were no edits. One morning I found a tarp-covered stack in my garage. On top was a handwritten note. "Will arrange pickup. Sorry for the trouble. The Mortons." Turns out Pamela had convinced multiple neighbors to store Bryce's streaming gear in my garage. She told them I had agreed. Some even helped carry the boxes over. That week, Brent Holloway, Clipboard King, approached me with a hollow apology. "There's been a misunderstanding," he said. "I have legal representation now," I replied, "and I'm not going anywhere. And Officer Reyes filed a formal report that included harassment, vandalism, and attempted burglary. Bryce got probation. Pamela was slapped with a restraining order. And slowly, the neighborhood shifted. A retired couple left a pie on my porch with a card. We stayed silent. That was wrong. A teenager who once laughed as Bryce trashed my yard offered to repaint my fence. Pamela and Bryce moved. Sold their house under pressure. Rumor was, the HOA quietly encouraged it. The new owners were a young couple. They knocked on my door their first night and said, "We know what you've been through. We're glad you stayed." Now, when I unlock my garage, I feel more than relief. I feel ownership. Not just of a space, but of a battle I didn't choose but refused to lose. Pamela used gossip, manipulation, and systemic bias. I used patience, documentation, and truth. She left angry and forgotten. I stayed. Stronger, respected. And every weekend, as I rebuild engines with music on and the door open, I remember people will try to take what's yours. But if you know who you are, and you're willing to stand alone for a while, they can't keep it. Not forever.